Bandai has shoved a lot of Ghost game support onto us, but while Gamamon seems to be the love child in much respect like Agumon, and Jellymon was supposed to be somewhat competitive with the Bukamon egg, what about Angoramon? Angoramon may actually have its own time to shine. For the level 2s, Tanimon was ultimately my egg choice, because this deck has a lot of ways to play your Tamers. Granted, again, you could run previous eggs I mentioned, like Pinamon, or Minomon, or even the Niaramon for that constant plus 1000 DP when the Digimon is suspended. For level 3s, surprise surprise, it's Double Typhoon Terriermon again. This Digimon is largely going to be a staple for these green tournaments, because of its cheapness of playing Tamers. But don't worry, I am covering other decks that utilize the secondary play. The only floodgate you run is Pomumon for stopping your opponent from playing Digimon by card effects. Your other level 3s are going to be Angoramon, one of which is from BT10 that lets you draw a card when you play a green Tamer, or draw one once per turn when your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended for its inheritable. The other is a Searcher from RB1 that looks for a Digimon with Angoramon in its text, and a Ruli Tsukiono. While your opponent has no unsuspended Digimon, this Digimon provides an inheritable of plus 1000 DP. Considering this means if they try to attack and they have no other unsuspended Digimon, you're buffed. For considerations, you could move up how many Pomumon you run, but do be careful on how much you're sacrificing on Digimon with Angoramon in the text. As for BT13 Angoramon, this Digimon is a small blocker, but overall I just want more card draw and search. When it comes to Symbare Angoramon, there are 3 different versions you can use. One gains you memory when an opponent's Digimon becomes suspended on your turn, another has jamming and another plus 1000 DP buff for the inheritable, and the last one has the same inheritable but plays Ruli Tsukiono if you don't have her in play. The LM variant has some niche situations to be played, but I do like the all turns buffs and memory more than a your turn buff. Lamortmon also has a few uses. For LM1's Lamortmon, you have an on-play and when digivolving effect that suspends one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if they have no unsuspended Digimon, it can't unsuspend until the end of their turn. This means it's not limited to just the unsuspend phase, but the entire turn as well. Bloom Lordmon? Nope. Rosemon? Nope. The RB1 gives piercing and lets you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Bottom line, both these Digimon trash the top card of your opponent's security when you delete an opponent's Digimon in battle and survive for its inheritable. Huge value there. I personally wasn't a fan of BT10's Lamortmon, and BT13's warp gimmick isn't as important to me. Finally, for DireBitmon, this one I had to consider what are the best options. The Ace Digimon can blast Digivolve and suspend multiple targets. The only issue is if your opponent is able to remove this with like Hydramon, bad things happen. While true you can steal turns potentially or Evo this for 1, it's still missing something that I really want. Its when attacking effect lets me play a Digimon with Angoramon in its text from my hand, but at the end of my opponent's turn, the Digimon returns to my hand. In a mirror, it does put up an unsuspended Digimon, but depending on what I put out, it could be just a really bad time. LM1 Lamortmon is the best target due to its on-play effect. The promo DireBitmon lets me unsuspend a Digimon when I delete an opponent's Digimon in battle and survive, and has a when digivolving effect that suspends 2 of my opponent's Digimon. But RB1 is the one I'm running at 4, mainly because not only is it the biggest body, but it also has blocker. In combination with Ruli at the end of my turn, I can unsuspend this Digimon to provide better defense. The best part is that I can attack also, then use Ruli. As I mentioned in the Tyrannomon video, agility training is going to come in very handy in the upcoming green tournament format. With nothing to stop these reduction costs, this provides search for your Tamers and or Digimon. Again, this deck leans more into a stacked build, which is why it doesn't run HPD even though you could if you're running Ace. Finally, Tamers in the form of Ruli Tsukiono. 3 copies of the Memory Fixer to put you to 3, and 4 copies of RB1 for reducing my Digivolution cost by 1, and also unsuspending one of my Digimon with Angoramon in the text. RB1 DireBitmon has so many advantages here, which is why you could sequence the effects in a way that let you attack first, trash the security from deleting an opponent's Digimon, then unsuspend for the following turn for the block. Unfortunately, this deck has a very linear strategy and lacks one thing most decks have, and that is protection. While true green decks like Bloom Lordmon don't have protection either, the fact that they have multiple bodies allows them to easily rebuild. In some instances, their only problem lies in the lack of the hand as they are playing their bodies, not digivolving into them as consistently. What are your thoughts on DireBitmon, and do you think Angoramon has a shot at taking wins in the green tournaments? Let me know your thoughts, because tomorrow, it's another green deck to explore. This is DIGI-PANDA, logging out.